And before all that, I'm going to be talking to Michael Ormiston and Candida Valentino about overtone singing and undertone singing too. They're going to be demonstrating how to do it, and we've got some incredible recordings of what the human voice is capable of, so do stay tuned for that. You're listening to The Choir on BBC Radio 3 with me, Sara Mohr-Pietsch, and in just a moment I'm going to introduce my two special guests on the programme. Before I do, have a listen to this. That was the voice of Tserendavaa singing Toroi Bandi from Eastern Mongolia, the extraordinary sound of overtone singing. And I'm delighted to introduce my two guests, overtone singers Michael Ormiston and Candida Valentino. Welcome to you both.
Hello.
Hello, thank you.
Now, tell me, overtone singing, Michael, very briefly, what exactly is it and why did it develop in particular, that really distinctive sound of the melody being whistled effectively?
It's not actually whistled. What it is the filtering out of lots of harmonics and the amplification of one harmonic. And in Mongolia, in the west actually of Mongolia and in Tuvan, some of the origin stories are about the sound of wind vibrating on a lake and echoing in a mountain. So it's a reflection upon the natural sounds of the environment that the Mongolians and the Tuvans hear. And what they have done and understood is one of the fundamental things about music, harmonics or overtones. They don't know any theory, they have just listened really carefully. So, one of the techniques is where you use your tongue, Mongolian Khoomii, on the hard palate, like you're doing a locked L, and then all you're doing is keeping the tip of the tongue on the hard palate and then moving the tongue up towards the roof of your mouth. And you can do it with a normal voice, Did you hear those sounds go up and down?
Absolutely heard them. I mean, actually, you have to learn to tune your hearing to hear those extraordinary high frequencies.
We are always hearing that. When a choir is listening to be in tune, like in a barbershop for a quartet in particular, they call a ringing. And what they're doing is they're tuning their harmonics. And so to sing really well and in tune, you've got to listen to harmonics anyway. This is just a really refined way. In Mongolia, they have another quality of sound. Instead of having their normal voice, they have a compressed voice. This is the more difficult thing. To sing harmonics is really easy. But instead of having, this type of voice, you need to go into this type of voice here. Can you hear it? That sounds like I'm strangling. But I'm using muscles that are not in my larynx. These are above my larynx, so I'm compressing. They're more likely your suprapharyngeal constrictor muscles. You can Google that if you want to. So here is it more Mongolian.
What's interesting about that, I suppose, is that you're hearing less of the voice, the normal voice, and you're hearing more of the overtones.
Yeah,
is that why that technique's developed?
I presume that's why that technique's developed. It's also connected, this type of voice, it's connected to epic singing and praise singing. So it has also a quite spiritual stroke sacred ritual nature to it. And it's a very different voice to most of the Mongolian other Khoomii singing styles. And so, yes, if you've got the technique of getting the harmonic right, then it can amplify the harmonic and suppress the fundamental.
Candida, I want to bring you in because women can sing overtones as well.
Yes,
it's not just men. Despite the fact that our voices aren't as deep, so they don't necessarily lend themselves so immediately, obviously, to that very deep fundamental, I suppose, on which
Well, the fundamental,
overtones come.
you can get harmonics from any fundamental that you sing, but obviously if you find your mid-range voice, you can get quite a range of harmonics.
So what does a woman singing overtone sound like?
Pretty similar to a man.
Can we have a demo?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We're going to get you to do some more singing in a moment, and I'm going to be brave and try as well. But first, let's hear Sunda Ool. Tell us about this.
Well, this is quite a special piece because Khoomii is usually sung just as a solo type of singing. It's developed over the years to have more of a choral type of singing, and this is a rare Mongolian example where they're doing two types of traditional music, long song, Urtundu, accompanied by Khoomii, and it's very, very difficult to do this.
And Khoomii is the overtone
Khoomii is the Mongolian name for overtone singing, and it's the Khoomich, the person who sings overtones, is a Ganbold, who's one of the best Khoomii singers. Sadly, he passed away a few years ago.
So what we heard there in the melody Sunda Ool was the singer Tushin Jargal, who was singing Long Song, that beautiful long melody over the top, and also overtones combining in that. Michael, just in terms of what this music is about, you mentioned earlier epics and stories. But there is also a sacred element.
Well, that's
to this
interlinked, both in the sense of epic singing, and they do praise songs to the mountains. It can be considered just as a song or something that's quite spiritual in lots of different ways. In Mongolia, they had like 70 years of the socialist period, so that was sort of put to one side. And then after, in the capitalist period, you had some groups who would become more professional groups, actually before that, but some people would harken back to the more spiritual use, for want of a better word, of Khoomii singing. So it has multi-level uses.
We're going to hear a prayer now. In the name of my people, I ask God to strengthen the spirit of my people and make my land fruitful. Let my herds not suffer from sickness. The group Huur 2 with their arrangement of a Tuvan prayer. You're listening to The Quiet on BBC Radio 3 with me, Sara Mohr-Pietsch, where I'm getting a crash course in overtones singing from experts Michael Ormiston and Candida Valentino. Now, in a moment, I am going to have a go at overtone singing. But first of all, Michael, you've brought out an instrument and you guys are going to do a little demonstration for us. Tell us first of all what this instrument is.
The instrument I'm going to be using is called a Morin-Huur, which loosely translates as horsehead fiddle. And we're going to be demonstrating an undertone, a subharmonic. Candida was going to actually demonstrate this. And then we're going to also demonstrate, just like in that piece that you heard, a combination of subharmonics, undertones and overtones.
Crikey. Candida, can I just ask, what exactly is an undertone, having established what an overtone is? I had no idea there were undertones, at least not in music.
Yes, there is a style of singing, subharmonic singing, where you are trying to create a condition in your ventricular folds to allow the voice to create a subharmonic. So you have to sort of practice to actually relax the vocal cords.
And how long has it taken you to learn that technique?
Well, quite a while. It took me about 4 years for my voice to sort of fall into that place. But some people can get it straight away. So there is a traditional Mongolian and Tuvan way of singing subharmonics, is more chest orientated, and there is the more Western way, which is a softer style.
And which one are you going to do?
I'm going to do the more chest resonant subharmonic singing.
The proper way.
Yeah, I'll just give you an example, just in a soft way, of how you can get the resonance so a sound drops an octave. Ooh, all the time you are singing that voice, and can you hear there's another voice coming in? Ooh.
Ah. So what starts off as an almost kind of grating sound, suddenly you hear an octave below.
And so that is opening up like two organ pipes joining together to make a sound an octave lower. So if you had an organ pipe that was a fifth higher than another organ pipe, they would make an interference or a beat frequency that is an octave lower. Similar things may be happening.
Okay, I'm getting slightly scared now about my own little go at this because it sounds incredibly
you'll
complicated.
You'll be fine.
Look, before you put me to the test, go and stand over there by the microphones and let's hear a little bit. So Michael is going to start off by playing this beautiful horse instrument, which is dark wood and has a square body and a gorgeous carving of a horse at the top of the neck. And then we'll hear Candida singing. That was extraordinary. So what we were hearing were undertones from Candida and that amazingly rich, deep voice. And then Michael singing overtones. And it was lovely hearing you mirroring the melody that was coming out in the overtones on the instrument as well. OK, so now is the moment. I think I'd better have a go. Yeah. Can I do it sitting down?
As long as you've got your abdomen muscles all good for singing.
I think so.
You've got support.
I think so.
So there's basically... all you have to do is make the shape of your mouth like an oar.
Okay, and do try this at home.
And nice and loud.
Okay.
And then, like a ventriloquist, keep the lips in a oar position and then go from oar to E and backwards without moving your lips.
Oh, we're getting some harmonics.
You're getting some
fantastic.
Harmonics.
Studio have got their thumbs up. That's brilliant.
One more added thing, because in this technique called Mongolian Khoomii, the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, not touching the top front teeth, not on the alveolar ridge, but just the beginning of that cavity.
Okay.
Like doing an L. And it's exactly the same thing. You keep the tip of the tongue there, and then you just go from O to E, keeping your lips in one position. We'll do it together, and I'll drop out. Here we go.
So hang on a second. So my tongue is making an L.
Yes.
And I'm going O to E inside, and my mouth is just staying O.
Okay. Your middle of your tongue will move up. Here we go.
Concentrate very hard.
Just relax. Did you hear that?
We're getting some harmonics there?
Voila.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
It's not that difficult to get the beginning idea. The harder thing is to get the quality of sound, the shahalt, which means pressing or squeezing. Yeah. That will take a whole nother lesson. Okay.
Well, I'll be calling you. What was interesting was doing that, actually, I found it much easier to do with my eyes closed. Because you can really then start to hear what's going on inside your face, inside behind your cheeks and really resonating. We've got one more piece of music to listen to. This is David Hykes telescoping with the Harmonic choir, something completely different. Michael, tell us about this.
Yes, I know that you've played Stimmung before on the choir, and that was one of the first pieces to reawaken overtone singing in the West.
This is Stimmung by Stockhausen.
By Stockhausen. And there they would do quite a vowel sound. That's just open-mouthed overtones, single cavity overtones. So David Hykes, Stockhausen, Michael Vetter, many other people who are into experimental music or into spiritual music really got inspired by that type of singing, and David Hykes in particular created a choir. They spent a long time rediscovering and discovering how to sing harmonics, and this piece is a wonderful example. His first album, Hearing Solo Winds, recorded in a beautiful abbey, fantastic reverb, very meditative. It's a fantastic piece.
Well, thank you, Michael and Candida, both of you, for coming in. I feel very excited about the fact that I've finally tackled overtone singing, and undertones will come next. Watch this space. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Part of Telescoping by David Hykes. David Hykes himself directing the Harmonic choir. A wonderfully soft and enveloping sound, and such a contrast to the raw power of the Khoomii singing that we heard earlier. Well, thanks to my guests Michael Ormiston and Candida Valentino for talking us through overtones and undertones, and I hope you had a little go as well at home as you were listening. This is The Choir on BBC Radio 3 with me, Sara Mohr-Pietsch.